You know, the devil will make a fool out of you if you let him. And let's just say, when it comes to predicting the time of Jesus Christ's imminent return, the devil has made a lot of fools out of people. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a video for you guys from that amazing man, Atozi. I love his breakdowns of just what's going on, and it seems that finally the Lord is exposing these frauds and putting them to justice. This is this guy right here. Well, I'll let Atozi explain to you guys. But let's just say he was somebody who came in last year, December 2025, and he was telling us about a flood of water that God was gonna do. And it seems it's not in 2026. He's not doing too well since that. But let's get into it.
This TikToker spent 5 months convincing the internet that God had personally selected him to rescue humanity from an incoming apocalypse and flood. Does that sound familiar? And then naturally, when nothing happened on the day he said it was going to happen, he was arrested.
Massive W to those police officers. Massive W. We don't care if he put on sackcloth. Like literal sackcloth. Nah, man. If you're a fraud and you abuse people for money, you should be thrown in jail.
For faking the end of the world. So obviously, I mean, we have to dive into this one because this is definitely a bizarre internet moment in every way possible. So meet Evans Ashan, a 33-year-old working as a private security guard at a school in Medina, Accra, the capital of Ghana. Online, he operated as Ebo Noah, running accounts on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook under the same handle. And in all
side note, Pastor Roy, if you ever see this video, this is Ebo Noah I was telling you about. He thought he was gonna build like 12 arcs, and this man lost his mind.
August of 2025, Evans began releasing a series of videos carrying a very focused message. God had come to him with a revelation, and what he revealed was that a 3-year-old global flood was on its way. The disaster would kick off on Christmas Day 2025, and the only path of survival ran through.
You notice he's on TikTok. A lot of these prophets are on social media, and man, they put on the sad music, they put on a serious voice. Listen, I heard something from God. Y'all gotta stop listening to these guys.
The arcs Evan claimed that he was building to carry people through it. Yeah, this guy right here is going to save the entire world on an arc that he builds by hand. Okay.
OptiSigns lets you instantly
Oh, looks like we got some ads, but
transform any screen into a dynamic digital display.
Bro just woke up one day and started LARPing as Noah. And to be fair to him, he was heavily committed to the bit or the LARP because, you know, he went near a whole bunch of like large wooden boats and structures in Ghana, and he was presenting them on camera as ships that he was currently building. So yeah, definitely committed to the bit. And then he started talking about the scale of this mission and the divine weight of what he'd been called to do. And he opened the door to anyone who believed in the message to come find shelter before the deadline arrived. And the videos.
What man. All he did was make it black and white and just kind of position himself looking all humbled. This is, wow, people really fall for anything.
Spread further than you might expect because his audience grew across all 3 platforms, and what started as something fairly niche began reaching people well outside of the usual corners of the Ghanaian social media market, with comments from people all around the world. But unfortunately for the rest of us, I mean, I found out about this way after Christmas, so I guess the algorithm didn't think that any of us wanted to be saved. Uh-oh. Or maybe the algorithm just thought that we wouldn't buy into this. But I guess the dude started LARPing as a prophet.
W algorithm on either case. Yeah, I don't think any AI should have any business telling you about your salvation. But when I tell you, I wonder if those digital AI churches are still a thing. I know people have been talking about apparently people making AI generated sermons, but I'm like, this, it has no Holy Spirit. It has no godly ordained person. It's just a robot mimicking other behavior. Cast it out.
And what he didn't realize is he's only limited to whatever these social media algorithms allow him to reach. But this is where the story takes a very different turn from the usual viral moment. Because as Evan kept posting and December got closer, a section of his audience didn't really engage with the content as just entertainment. Some of them took it as a genuine warning and acted on it. So Ghanaian authorities later reported that hundreds of people had been meaningfully affected by this prophecy, and that some of them had made serious decisions with lasting consequences. Because apparently jobs were left behind, children were pulled from from school, and some people literally traveled to Ghana to try to reach the Ark site before the flood began. And there was even one guy who reportedly made a trip from Liberia, crossed an international border to get on a boat that, as it would turn out, had nothing to do with Evan. Yeah, I found a video shared by more than one source claiming that this is a guy who traveled from Liberia to join the Ark. And in one clip, it looks like they're in the same place where Evans filmed his videos. Now, obviously, I can't confirm the accuracy 100% here because, you know, I don't understand the language, but that's crazy. So regardless, police...
Well, that is the danger of these false prophets. You know, there are simple people who want to believe when something sounds like it's from God, that they will move on God. And we're going to talk about that because this is why Jesus also tells us to be very skillful and very restricting when it comes to believing people just offhand. Because yeah, the devil does want to present himself in a believable way.
Police flagged the situation way before Christmas even arrived, and to understand why this is such a big deal, it helps to know something about the context. So Ghana is one of the most religiously active countries in the world. Over 70% of the population identifies as Christian, and faith is genuinely embedded.
Side note, shout out to the United States, because apparently I'm pretty sure we still identify as 70% Christian. Is that right? Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. We dropped a little bit, but overall, still a nice, healthy, I would say, 69%. Now, obviously, that's a failing grade in any school, but nevertheless, just under 70%. So, not too much of a drop in the modern big 2026.
In daily life in a way that's hard to fully grasp from the outside. Unfortunately for Ghana as well, there's a lot of scams in Accra. And because of that, unfortunately, there's a lot of false prophets and charlatans there. I mean, Accra is unfortunately one of the international scam hubs of the world. So the concern here wasn't just that people were watching strange videos online, it was that the content was producing real fear and disruption, meaning a man showing up with footage of what appears to be actual arcs, a specific date, and a claim of divine insurrection isn't automatically going to get laughed off, at least not in Ghana. So when Christmas arrived, December 25th, but the flood didn't, Evans decided to post a response video explaining that 3 weeks of intensive fasting and prayer on his part had moved God to hold back the waters. Come on, dude. Really?
Convenient.
There are few people I dislike more than religious grifters. But of course, then the bit continues, because he then claims that the destruction, it hadn't been canceled. It was just pushed further down the road to give people more time to prepare. So I guess,
which is unironically biblical. God, like, even Jesus talks about a possible like the implications of there being a delay, and even Peter talks about actually where, hey, some count slothfulness, but the Lord is actually not wanting anybody to perish and all souls to come to him. So in implications of there being a postponement, but nevertheless, that's again just playing into the actual biblical narrative to be as convincing to people as possible.
I guess the charade can keep on going.
I have prayed, I have fasted, I have donated, and I have built. And through my prayers, I got another vision. When you look at the number of people coming all over the world into the ark, the expansion of the ark couldn't contain them. So I shared my vision to some.
This is a sickness of the highest order. It is deviant and we do not want it.
Great men of God who also interceded.
Shout out to Albert and Preach.
After the intercession, God has given us some time to build more arks.
But thankfully, I mean, the response to that update was, you know, predictably negative, but what he was about to do next was even worse, because he doubled down. Because in the days following to the failed prophecy, Evans Ashan showed up.
Oh wow, looks like we're gonna have a whole bunch of ads. I'm gonna skip through this.
She deserves the peace.
All these darn ads, man.
Put up on stage at a Ghanaian rapper's concert to address the audience directly. The apocalypse had just been postponed, so the night was theirs to enjoy. Come on, dude. This is like the mega church pastor grifters, but like infinitely worse. Now, obviously, that landed on the police's radar. So on December 31st, 2025, the Ghana Police Service's special cyber vetting team located Evans at his place and arrested him with a charge of publishing fake news with the intent of causing fear and panic.
Massive W to the police. They got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And of course, things got so much worse because what investigators uncovered during the process reframed the whole story, especially about the arcs. The boats Evans had been walking around on camera
They don't even belong to him, do they?
for months, presenting as, you know, divine construction that he was constructing to save the people of Ghana and the world. They weren't even his. He wasn't building them. The supposed vessel that he spent his entire prophecy building belonged to a fisherman in a boatyard in Adina. So Evans had filmed someone else's boat and used it as their visual foundation for 5 months of doomsday content. Come on! And in his own statement to police, he confirmed that. And he outright admitted. He said the claims are false, he knew no flood was coming, and that the content was made up. He also told
Of course. I mean, there's really no choice when they get you. Like, we have the evidence against you. We talked to those fishermen. We talked to that company. They want to sue you, but we're not going to allow them to if you confess, and thus we put you in jail now. And so you could either we put you in jail and then they put you in jail for longer for suing you, or you just confess and, well, like, all is done. So yeah, like in these situations, they just have no choice but to say, yeah, I was lying.
told investigators they thought what he was doing was just making content. But that framing police found hard to sit with, given that one person who had flown in from another country just to board his fake vessel. And then you have the dozens of people who quit their jobs and removed their kids from school.
What about the donations? Didn't we see this man literally like in one of those new off the lot fancy cars? Like, what about all the donations he took?
So, I mean, like, come on, dude. It does bring an interesting argument, though. Like, should you be responsible for other people's stupidity? I guess that's just kind of society, though. I mean, there's a reason elevators say don't lean on the doors, because, like, 99.999% of people don't lean on the elevator doors. But then you...
Fair, but you gotta understand, causing a public disturbance, like even online, and mass panic. I do think that's fair to say. Hey, you broke the law. You caused mass hysteria. So yeah, you should be put in jail.
You have the 0.00001% who's like, let's lean on the elevator door, and injures themselves. So I'm trying to draw a point between that and this. It's computing. Give me a second. I should have used a better point. Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to go with that. Now we have to look at a sign that says don't lean on the elevator doors. But this guy got arrested because people believed him. Hey, I don't know. In the US, it would only be illegal if...
The tragedy is, he probably took advantage of a lot of older people, a lot of elderly folk, like individuals who just scrolling and then they feel like they feel the Holy Spirit and they get deceived by a person like this.
He raised a whole bunch of money for this. I think that's how it would be a scam in the US. Him just claiming a flood's coming, everyone would just make videos or comment on the videos saying that he's a lunatic. But apparently in Ghana, you can get arrested. But the court put him in police custody and ordered a psychiatric evaluation at a government facility before his next appearance. Then he spent roughly 2 weeks locked up before returning to court on January 15th. And here, the judge granted him bail at $9,200 or 100,000 Ghanaian cedi. And the case was...
Oh yeah, they did not want him to get out.
Scheduled to continue on March 18th, 2026, giving both sides time to prepare.
Oh wait, if I'm not mistaken, you can post bail means he probably did get out, and so more than likely, either A, he had that sweet donation money, or B, he I'm pretty sure like to get out bail for these high amounts, you can sort of finance it, pay a substantial or small amount over time, and I guess to initially get out, and then paid over time, or else they'll just come to collect you. Which I don't know. Like, and somebody fact check me about this, because I'm pretty or I guess specifically about the Ghana laws over there. Because I mean, at that point, is it the same as the U.S. laws? Maybe.
Their evidence. But shortly after getting out, Evans went live on TikTok and spoke about his time in custody.
How is prison? Oh, Charlie, cells. It's not easy. Being in cells for 3 weeks. It's not easy. Yeah, in the morning you sit like monkey.
Look at him laughing. Look at him. Still, he put on his sackcloth just to laugh off prison. Look at him. This is the guy that these types of people that they that just confuse them and just take advantage of them. It is sad to see.
In the night, you sleep like a fish.
Sit like a monkey and sleep like a fish. What does that mean? I feel like that leaves me with more questions than answers here. But as of right now, he still faces a single charge of publishing fake news with intent to cause fear and panic. However, investigators are also working to determine the full financial picture, whether any followers have been misled into sending him money as a part of the ARC project. So if that happened, then all this is infinitely worse. Like, what if you just...
Yes, get him on everything. Throw the book, the chair, the table, and the apartment building, and the neighborhood at him. Everything, like until everybody else just says, "Wait a minute, we definitely better not play with these with deceiving people." I absolutely love when the law just absolutely obliterates
Just postpone
fraudsters.
the doomsday scenario so we could keep on raising more funds. That would be crazy if it did happen. But whether Evans intended any of this to reach the scale it did, who knows? Maybe he went viral and he's like, all right, I guess we gotta capitalize on this. But either way, the next hearing is on March 18th, which is tomorrow as of recording this video. So I guess we'll see what happens. But if you do drop a like on this video, I'll make an update to the story. And other than that, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
So absolute W from that man Tozy. Like I love his content. I love everything about him. He's always posting like good stuff, like when it comes to just exposing things. So yeah, there's the fraudster. So what is their takeaways? Well, the Bible talks about this, and I want to start off with the chief apostle himself, Apostle Peter. It's 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1. He details this. He says, "But false prophets also arose from among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you who will secretly bring in destructive heresies, even denying the master who bought them, bringing upon themselves swift destruction." There is this idea that yes, people do want to take advantage of truth. This is why when we hear about, oh, this latest guy trying to make a quick rich scheme off of Jesus or anything from the Bible, it's not surprising because many prophets, Jesus Christ and the apostles, like, were aware that yes, because of the reality of the truth, this will draw people to want to try to profit off of it. But the end result is very clear. They will be brought to destruction. They will face hellfire, and it will not be a good day for them. But nevertheless, about the idea of the believability of these frauds, is it because people are merely stupid? No. A dull knife is still a sharp object. And so we just got to be aware of what Jesus actually taught. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 24, Jesus makes a very interesting statement here. And it talks about false prophets, but actually according to their believability. For false Christ, so false messiahs, false impersonators of Jesus, and false prophets, messengers who carry a word from God, will arise and perform great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. Now, for those who don't know what the elect is in the Bible, the elect is essentially those who are the genuine article, that actual authentic type of Christian. That what Jesus said is actually his sheep. And so the idea of is he just swindling the dumb people? No. There is a sense in which there is a presentation that causes people to say, okay, this must be the genuine article. And I'm glad Jesus said this, because this should let us know, whoa, they can be believability behind these people. They can do great signs and wonders, miracles, something you don't see every day. And this will cause you to pause and ponder. Now, obviously, Jesus isn't the only one who said this. Famously, if anybody's read the book of Deuteronomy, Moses actually talked about how, yes, there is the possibility that you will find a prophet or a dreamer of dreams. Somebody who is able to see something in the supernatural and, in many ways, like actually perform genuine miracles. But he said it very clear. You need to be aware of what they say, because if what they says leads you to disowning the true God and abandoning the truth that's been revealed to you and the covenant of your fathers, then you need to leave that man alone. You need to flee from that person. Again, he makes it very clear that yes, there are messengers from the opposite side, the side of lies, evil, and the devil, the Antichrist, that is able to produce something materially, visually, and experientially convincing. That's why you got to be careful about this new age spirituality stuff, because yeah, the devil, like, just as God is very convincing, the devil can be very convincing to your senses. And I love that Moses makes it very clear it's not enough. The doctrine must be right, the truth must be right, what the theology must be right. If he leads you to a God that is unrecognizable to your God, because you have a recognizable God that you worship, then you need to flee. Now, this leads us to the most important part of anything when it comes to false prophets. First John chapter 4 verse 1. Test the spirits, beloved. Do not believe every spirit. So we're just not supposed to believe every spirit. Like, just flat out, we're not supposed to have a very trusting personality when it comes to every kind of spirit. But test the spirits to see whether they are from God. And spirit in this case presumably means like actual fervent desire or maybe something supernatural. But the point is, do not trust merely the initial, hey, I'm a Christian. Hey, I'm just like you. Hey, I hear from God. Because you're supposed to be testing those. Test meaning, oh, let's see if it lines up. Test the spirits to see whether they are from God, for many false prophets have gone out into the world. John is making it very clear they're amongst us. Forget that. They've been amongst the church and Christianity for literally since its initial response. Peter makes it clear that they've been here before you and they're gonna be here during you and after you. And so naturally, again, not surprising. But shout out to the Ghanaian police for absolutely smiting this person down when it comes to the full weight of the law. Hopefully they investigate and find more crimes and hold them to justice. And let this be another example to be wary and watchful, because yes, the devil is moving. God has a voice and the devil likes to mimic it. We got to be careful not to be taken advantage of. Amen? Amen. With that being said, God bless and stay blessed, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.